Are you wondering how to make the most of Pinterest when you're thinking about your content planning calendar? Today I'm going to help you think through and map out your content using Pinterest as your guide for however long you want to map it out for. Do you want to map it out for the next 90 days, the next 6 months, the next year? It doesn't really matter. It's the same framework either way. But that's what we're working on today, how to start your content planning strategically using your data from Pinterest. Hey guys, it's Heather here from Heather Ferris & Co. I run a Pinterest marketing agency for creators, teaching them how to grow their traffic, grow their leads, and overall grow their businesses using Pinterest. If that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button. I would be happy to have you on board. And welcome to today's video where we're talking about content planning. So let's just dive right in. This is kind of a two-part thought process here. The first thing we need to think about are those worldwide international trends. So Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, Halloween, those are big things that happen all around the world, usually. And we can mark those in and kind of chunk those into our content planning for the year to make sure that we're creating content around those seasonal things and we are pinning for those things as well. The second thing is to plan around industry trends. So what's going on in your industry that you can plan for? Think about things like back to school, time management tips. Those usually happen around New Year's, productivity, fitness. Where did those things surge? And how can you create content around those? And when can you create content around those to make the most of that traffic, all right? So those are the two big blocks that we need to think about before you even go into the third thing, which is creating your content calendar for the year, all right? So think about it, big worldwide trends, industry trends, and then think about your audience and when they're looking for things and where you can plug those in to the big umbrella topics, okay? All right, now we're actually going to figure out the map for your content, okay? We're gonna map your plan. Number one is to get those things on your calendar upwards of 90 days in advance. In the holiday trends video that I talked about planning for holiday trends, previous week's video, if you didn't watch it, you can go watch it now. I talked about planning your content and actually starting to pin that content upwards of 90 days before the event actually happens. So think about Christmas, back it up 90 days. That's when you need to start pinning for that thing, right? And then get that on your calendar. So whether you use Google Calendar, you use a planner, it doesn't matter if you have a specific thing for content planning, get that in there. And then number two is to actually look at your analytics. This is Google Analytics and Pinterest Analytics, and look for the traffic actually coming to your site on Google Analytics. And then in Pinterest Analytics, look at the pins that are actually getting clicks, and some could argue saves as well. All right, so people are actually saving content in advance to come back to later. So if they're not clicking through your content right now, look at the things that people are saving and make note of those. The things that you want to be asking yourself if it's working or not, to figure out if, when you need to put this content on the books, when are they actually doing those things? When are they planning those things? It's right after kids get out of school. So which pins keep popping up over and over? Are they the same image? Are they different images? When you're looking at your Google Analytics, which pins are sending the most traffic and when is that traffic occurring? Is, on Pinterest, is it getting a lot of saves in August, but it's getting a lot of clicks in October? That can lead into when you actually create the content and when you start pinning it, okay? So looking at your analytics, and then you want to start creating the content, right? You want to start creating the content about 90 days in advance. You want to at least create it 90 days in advance. If you don't publish it, until 60 days in advance, that's okay. But I would just go ahead and start creating that content 3 months in advance and start hitting publish, pinning it to Pinterest, whether or not you share it on your other platforms or not. Pinterest can go ahead and start benefiting from it. And, it's a search engine after all, so they can start categorizing your content on where it needs to go and optimizing it for search. So create your content at upwards of 90 days in advance. And then you want to create seasonally themed things. Seasonally themed blog posts, videos, seasonally themed images, and you want to use seasonally themed keywords. What do I mean by this? I mean using Christmas in the keyword. Go and search for Christmas decor ideas for small homes. Use long tail keywords and use seasonally themed language. Easter gift ideas, Easter basket ideas, Easter dinner ideas, like these are just some examples of seasonally themed keywords that you can start using. And then 5 is to actually passively share your content using Tailwind. If you are not using Tailwind, it is the most amazing tool for automating your Pinterest strategy. You can grab 4 months free with my link in the description below. If you sign up, that's awesome. You get access to actually scheduling your content, but you also get access to tribes and Smart Loop. So there's 2 things there, 2 tools within Tailwind that I would suggest you use. You can add your content to your queue in advance, so you can actually schedule it in your queue when you want it to go out. Or you can use Smart Loop and put in specific chunks of content that you want to share at specific times of the year, and then turn it on, and it'll passively just turn on when you tell it to turn on and turn off when you want it to turn off. Then you don't have to think about it. So if you have a lot of evergreen content that's super popular, then you can throw them into these loops and it will just turn on when you want it to turn on. So 90 days in advance, it'll turn on and start pinning for you. But that's it, guys. So let's recap today's tips. So we're gonna first get a calendar out, and we are going to look through it to see what our major international, like world trends are. And we're gonna back them up 90 days and put them in our calendar. And then we're gonna think about our industry. What happens in our industry the same time each year? Time management, wedding season, back to school, backyard gardening. Like, what are your industry trends that happen that may not be a worldwide thing? Put those in your calendar and back them up 90 days. And then actually mapping out your content. So number 1, you're gonna get a calendar and you're gonna put them in, right? Number 2, you're gonna look at your analytics, both Google Analytics and Pinterest Analytics. You're going to look at your content that you want to create and start creating it 90 days in advance. You're gonna create seasonally themed images, blog posts, and you're gonna use seasonally themed keywords. And then number 5, you're gonna start passively sharing using Tailwind. You get 4 months free with my link below, so there's no point in not signing up. If you're not already a Tailwind user, you're gonna love it, I promise. So that's it for today's video. Can't wait for you guys to see the results of actually implementing these tips. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or if there's any videos that you'd like to see in the future. And that's it for this week. So if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, and we'll see you next week.